we're
You're
just
live.
we're I think we are live, but we're waiting for Instagram.
Yes.
So hello YouTube, hello
And
Facebook,
Facebook.
hello Instagram. Uh, it is Sunday today. It's a Divine Mercy Sunday,
Yes.
and we are so happy because there you go. I think we're live on Instagram now.
Hello, Instagram.
Hello Instagram. Yeah, welcome to Leejay and Melissa. My name is Leejay,
And I'm Melissa.
and yeah, we both run a digital business based out of Alberta, Canada,
Yeah.
and we're teaching people, right, regular people like you and I, to step it up, become digital entrepreneurs.
Yes.
We provide all the
Hello.
training. Right, hello,
Hello,
Rochelle.
Rochelle. How are you?
How are you? It was so nice to see you here. Are you still in bed? Hopefully not. Anyways, this is our seventh day. Oh my gosh, for this
Yeah,
90-day
7.
challenge.
We made it 1 week.
We made it 1 week, and
Yes.
on today's challenge, we just want to reflect of the week, right? Of what we've done in the past 7 days, right? 6 days,
Yeah.
and just so happened after Easter, actually, during after Easter, there is we Catholics participate in a novena called Divine Mercy novena for 9 days. Beginning um, Good
Easter.
Friday,
A Good
right?
Friday. Yes.
So now is the conclusion of it, right? Yesterday was the conclusion. Today is the feast of the Divine Mercy, and and we're so happy because we're also we also volunteered for the last day of novena yesterday, and as I was reading the words in that novena, it just gives me this sense of happiness, right?
Yeah.
That God has really gifted us so much, right, in this world. um, Not only gifting, like if you really want to see it in your day-to-day lives, there's so many things that we want to be grateful for, especially my spouse. I was so happy, right, to wake up beside her, uh,
So sweet.
and I was so happy also to just, even though I was a bit groggy this morning because I was really tired yesterday, and we had so much, right? So Mel actually worked with some clients yesterday, and I was listening to them screaming in the morning, right? um, or just doing something with the kids. I felt so happy that they're there, right? So my kids are
Yes.
there. So yeah, it's a day of gratitude, right? Just so
Yes.
as we are starting this particular live session, I want to start it off with gratitude, for finishing 7 days. Imagine,
Yes, yeah. We've
right?
been consistent for 7 days. Morning time,
Morning time, yeah. So
Um,
if you want to catch us live, tune in every
ev-
day, weekdays, usually in the morning time.
yes. Morning time here in North America.
Yeah, Calgary time.
Calgary.
We're looking at around 8:30 ish, nine
Yeah.
o'clock,
Or
right?
9 o'clock
Yeah,
sometimes.
but we wanted to be more consistent, be earlier than that actually,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
the kids are going back to school now, and
Yes.
we wanted to have an early live session. So yeah, what have you? What's your reflection this week? Like, what do you think? How did we
Oh,
do?
I think we did great.
Mm.
Even though there are times in the morning when I just want to sleep in, right? And just sleep longer. But I know we have this 90-day challenge, and I really wanted, wanna, you know, want something to come out of this.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I put my energy and focus onto it. And waking up early is a big deal for me because 8 o'clock is still pretty early because I sleep late at night. I sleep at 12, 1 a.m. sometimes.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so waking up at 8 o'clock is a bit early. So just to discipline myself to sleep earlier
Hmm.
and waking up early, I think we were able to get some results, right? Like having this 90-day challenge for the past 7 days
Hmm.
consistently. I think that right there is a success in itself.
That's right. You know, one of my mentor mentioned that how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? And it has really some truths in terms of, running a successful business, right? And one of the things that I really realized is that if we could really stick it out until the 90 days, right? For the entire
Yeah.
90 days, I think there's going to be um, uh, a tremendous impact, right, in ourselves and in our business, right? So
Yeah.
it's not only really the business that I'm looking at, but it's more of a personal
Personal
development,
mhm.
personal success, right?
Achievement. Yeah.
Achievement.
Hmm.
Some people, other people measure success in different ways, right?
Yes.
Um, I was watching this. We were watching this movie last night called Accountant, the Accountant
Oh
from
yeah.
Netflix, and it's funny because there was a scene there where the a doctor was diagnosing the kid that has disability, right? So some sort of brain
Neurological.
neurological disability,
Mhm.
and he said that define normal, right? Because
Yes. Yeah.
the parent
Because the
was like,
parents said he looks like he's not normal. Oh,
yeah,
we
he,
just want to know if he's gonna live
normal,
normally.
normally,
Yeah.
yeah. And then he said, define normal, right?
Yeah. What's normal to you?
What's normal to you? And that's the same way with business, and how we run things is, how do you really define success in life, in business, in your personal lives? And I think each of us has a definition of success, right? um, my short definition to it really is that, there's so many things that I have that I'm really, really grateful for. My job, our businesses, Melissa, my family, um, the faith that I have, the community that we have, the opportunities that I have, and I can go on and on and on, um, to list down all the things that I'm grateful for, right? Um, and that to me, on a daily basis, if I count those blessings, if I count those gratitude, right, it's already a success, right? It's already counting to that success. Although I do have, our dreams are bigger, right? Our hopes are bigger. Our my vision board is bigger than that, right? Uh, and it's not there yet, right, in terms of the goals that I have, but I know that it's going to be fulfilled anytime soon, right?
Yeah.
Like it's really
Yeah.
just
A
um
matter of
a
time.
matter of time, just
Yeah.
maybe a few weeks, a few months, right?
Yeah. Few
I don't
years. Who knows?
I
Yeah.
don't mind to wait a few years, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But I know that the destination is really clear, right?
Yes. Yeah.
um and I think I shared this in the past, where Steve Harvey mentioned that there's a reason why a specific goal or specific dream is implanted in your head, because it's there, because God allows that to be there, right?
Yes.
To
Yeah.
be in your head, right?
Yeah.
um, when you dream of a new job, when you dream of a new career, when you dream of a new business, when you dream of a big house or a car, your dream car, or your dream husband or dream wife, or if you dream of a good life for you and your family, right?
Mhm.
That's God, the creator, right?
Who implanted
Implanting
that
that
dream?
seed within
Yeah.
you, and he knows that you're gonna get it. He knows
Yeah.
that you have the
He's just testing whether you're gonna have faith in him.
Mhm,
Yeah.
right. So yes, there are times where you sit and you're like, oh my gosh, my life, is really going sideways, and there really is no hope for me, right? But really, the the lesson of this Lenten season for us, especially this Easter,
Yeah.
is that there's hope, right?
Yes. Yeah.
There's hope, and when when you act upon um, that idea that God has implanted to you, right? You would see that it's kind of like a puzzle being, you
Yeah.
know,
Like.
being clicked together, right?
Yeah.
And it's like pieces that are all across the board, and now it's
And
being put
now.
together, right? Mel loves puzzles,
Yes, I love puzzles.
right?
Yes, it's
Um,
you won't realize it in the beginning and you won't even realize it during the process.
mhm,
The only time that you're going to realize it is at the end when you are in there in that journey, and then you look back and you say, "Oh my gosh, it's amazing how God works in mysterious ways."
right,
God has really planned this for us,
right.
and the only thing that you could really do is to be grateful and thank
Hmm.
God that He did that.
That's right. So I think the first week of of this challenge uh, really just gave us a foundation, right?
Yeah.
And believe that we can go through, the next, how many days do we have left? 83
83
days.
days.
The next 83 days, right?
Yeah.
Um, and maybe the first week isn't just a foundation, maybe it's an introduction, right?
Yeah.
And next week
And
would
maybe
be
we'll keep going after 90 days.
right,
Who knows? Right?
right.
Like
So the 90
I'm
days
loving
become
this.
180 days.
Yes, and 180 days becomes 365 days.
Right.
Becomes a year, and then it becomes a habit,
Yeah,
right?
then
It becomes
becomes a
a
habit.
routine now.
So I
And
think
I think it's pretty exciting, right?
right,
Like
it's exciting to think about that, and
yeah.
exciting to think about what would you have become, right,
Yeah.
after the process.
Yeah.
It's not so much of how much money you're gonna make from it, right? Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Leejay, you go for 90 days, but how much money you're gonna make for it, right? From
Yeah.
it, and I think that's really not the case of this,
Here,
right?
it's the growth that we're really looking at.
Right.
Because in the past we have done something like this, but we didn't do it as consistently as
Hmm.
what we are doing now, and so we are challenging ourselves
Hmm.
to do it consistently this time.
Hmm.
you know
And consistency is the key there, right? Because um, like what I said in the past, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a blood entrepreneur, and I'm
He
very
has the entrepreneurial
entrepreneurial
blood.
spirit, the blood, everything you could
Yeah,
possibly you know
every piece of cell in his body is an entrepreneur.
entrepreneurship, making money, business, all that stuff, right? But
Yeah.
here's the thing: is
But it's not the making
it's
money
not the
part,
yeah.
right? Like it's the opportunities and the things that you can do about it,
Mhm.
right? the I think it's the way you view it is it's all about maximizing your life, because
Mhm.
you have a period right now in your life, right, when you have your your life,
Mhm.
and it's just without the opportunities, without all the skills, the learnings, the
Mhm.
growth that you're gonna do, right, it feels like you're not maximizing your life.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? Just by giving value to others, I think that's one way of maximizing your time, right? And your what we've got so far. Um, I think when you join our community of business people, you'd be amazed how much of us really are like-minded individuals
Yes. Yeah.
that are part of this community.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is because we all at one point experience
Some rock
challenges,
bottom.
rock
Yeah.
bottom, right?
Yeah.
And
Some.
these people just wants to
Mhm.
change their lives for the better.
Yeah.
And part of that, being in this business, is to go through this kind of challenges, right?
Mhm.
90-day challenge, right?
Yes.
We wouldn't have done this kind of challenge if we weren't part of that mastermind group, right? If we weren't part
Yeah.
of that 200,000 people,
Yeah.
or maybe 3,000 people on that particular mastermind,
Yeah. We
and
wouldn't be doing these things that we're
mhm,
doing in social media if
mhm,
we are not part of that community.
right,
Right? We're probably lying down,
chilling,
watching
right, watching
Netflix.
Netflix, more Netflix, right,
And yeah.
and probably wasting our time with other things, right?
Yes.
But realizing it as well is that because we have a schedule around this, because we committed to this particular schedule, we work around this thing, right? I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
we still wanted to be with our kids. We are so
Yeah.
thankful to play with them, during the
Yeah.
day
Yeah,
or whenever we
we
can.
still watch Netflix with them.
Mm.
Like last night, we just had a Netflix session with the family,
With the family, yeah.
and it's just our life is more balanced in a way.
Hmm.
We have this professional life, the business life. We have the family life, right? The
Hmm.
personal life. It's it's balance,
It
right?
is, and it's not easy to balance it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody says it is, and there are times where I binge watch or binge take courses, because when I want to learn something, I just want to stuff them all into my mind, and sometimes I just don't have time with family, right? um,
Mm-hmm.
but there are times also where I have to limit myself of like, okay, now I'm not gonna. Um,
What's wrong?
what, hap- what
Okay.
happened? Okay. Amelia's Amelia's
What's
getting
up?
upset. I think what is it? No, the thing. Hang
Oh,
on.
the
Is- Alex, can you grab tissue upstairs? All right.
okay. We had a short break there.
We have a short break. So yeah, I was saying that you know
Yeah.
yes, we have time to do live session like this. Yes, we have time to work with our business. And yes, we have time to work at our jobs, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if we don't make time, then nothing's gonna happen. And it's just about the action that we put through, right? That we
Yeah.
put in to whatever we want to do,
Yeah.
right? I mean, yesterday we also served, right? I
Yeah.
served. We served in our community, and today we're gonna serve in our community.
Yes.
And yet Mel
And
couldn't,
today I'm gonna go to work.
right? So,
Yeah.
and yesterday Mel was like, "Oh my gosh, we can't keep up with the schedule, right?"
Yeah.
Yes, of course. If you think that you can't, and you think you can do either or, you're right, right? Henry Ford told us that, right?
Yeah.
Henry Ford said that whatever you think is right, and whatever you think that it's not right,
Mm-hmm.
regardless, you are right, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we think that we can keep up with our schedule, of course we can keep up with our schedule. If we think that we can't, then obviously we can't, right? So at the end of the day, this reflection really just gives me so many nuggets that I want to share um, with everybody. And I think one of the I can summarize it in three things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number one, this 90-day challenge really is a foundation, right? So
Yeah.
where we want to build roots, right? Of a habit we want to sustain, right, for the rest of our lives.
Nice.
Uh, it's nice that we're able to do this, 30 minutes a day, to
Yeah.
just share, right? Share
Yeah.
what the journey looks like.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's like a reflection
mhm,
time for me, right? Because just to stop everything that you're doing and just to
mhm,
sit down and talk,
yeah.
like it gets you to reflect on the things that is really going on,
Hmm.
you know.
That's right. So that's, to build a foundation, to build a habit, right? um, Number two is to just give value, right? To give value to all of you, right? Especially those 2,000 crazy fans that we have on this page. uh, 2,000 people,
Yeah.
can be quite enough to actually start a ripple of good things, right?
Yes.
And we just wanted to give value to everybody, right? So there's really nothing in return to this. um, we're not making money, nobody's paying us to actually do this, right? We're not paying, hourly when we go on live for to do all this work. But
Yes.
at the end of the day, we are grateful to share this to you.
Yes, it's
And
just it's a platform for
mhm,
us to share the message, right? The things that, um, the messages that we wanted to to share, right? In
right.
the social media.
And the thing is, I think yesterday or the other day I was mentioning about value stacking, right? Of how much money, um, dollar value really is for those courses that we have in our training session, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's an entire course. When you go to Udemy right now, and if they are not in, if they're not on sale, each of those courses cost about $200 minimum, right? Um,
Yeah.
and really those courses are not even updated, right? And so when you have an updated course, an entire course how to use Facebook for advertising, or how to use YouTube for advertising, or we get to listen to world class entrepreneurs, um, on a webinar.
Yeah.
And to be in a ticket, to be in the same place with those people,
Mm-hmm.
learning the same message or listening to the same message, cost thousands of dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've been through seminars that cost thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And so to come in and have all those values, right, it's all included in your training platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how amazing is that, right? And so, yeah,
Yes.
that's the second part, is giving value. We wanted to do the same thing to our Facebook page, right? To give value to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And thirdly, we just wanted to connect. We just wanted to connect with you because
Yes.
I felt like it's been so long since we've done live
Nice.
sessions like this. With all of the projects that we have, with all of the craziness that we have in the world, um, we never really had the chance to
To
connect,
connect.
right, with you. And it actually sparked, the connection really sparked by our team members and
Mm-hmm.
our unstoppable champions out there.
Yes.
And a lot of that is because we are so inspired with you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
um, with what
The
you
passion that they're putting in, the
yeah.
dedication that they're doing in the
Mhm.
business, it's just very inspiring,
It's
right?
very inspiring, and we want to walk with them. We want to walk with
Mm-hmm.
them with their success, right? We want to see them be
Mm-hmm.
successful.
Yeah.
And if we were just really selfish enough, we could have just left this entire thing, and not really have that opportunity to walk with them to their success.
Mm-hmm.
But here they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also investing their time and money and effort, to have a success, or to have a better retirement, to have a better future, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're out there, and you're still thinking, and you're at the level of where you're thinking about retirement, you're thinking about maybe funds for your kids, for their college
Mm-hmm.
education, all
Yeah.
these things, these are good reasons to get started with a business like this.
Yeah, or just to earn extra income,
Hmm.
so that maybe one parent in the family could
Hmm.
at least stay at home with the kids,
Hmm.
right? And while the other parent goes to work. I think that in itself is a big reason, because that was our reason in the beginning
Hmm.
when we started this journey in the online business. We both were working at the same time, and the kids were leaving them in the daycare. And
Hmm.
all I really wished at that time was to be able to stay at home with the kids and not having to drop them off in daycare. And it was a lot of things that needs to get done. There's so many moving parts,
Yes.
right? Like if both of you are working as long while you have little kids, it's a lot of challenge, right? And to have myself as a stay-at-home mom full time with the kids, it's a big it's like a big it's a heavy thing that's lifted up. It's like
Mhm.
it just got so much easier for us to have myself to stay at home with the kids and be able to do this business full time, right?
It's a big deal because I remember the days where Mel or even I have to drop off the kids to daycare, and it's probably one of the worst feelings because um, you don't know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
When they're in there, and
And plus you get tired at work, and then after your work you pick them up, and but you're already exhausted. Like
mhm.
how else could watch the kids after? Like I think it's a lot of work.
Right, and it's emotionally stressful and
Yeah.
tiring, it's
Hmm.
physically stressful and tiring,
Yeah.
a lot of this, and I can go on and on and on with all the challenges that we have in the past and the reasons why we're here, but at the end of the day, um, the business really just it will augment in a good way. So in some ways it could be some sort of a personal development, right, to develop to be a better person,
Yeah.
and in some ways it could be a business development to be able to have financial gains from it, right?
Hmm.
um, in many ways it's a development in terms of improving your time, quality time with your
Yeah.
family, quality time with your kids when you're raising them, right?
Yeah.
Um, and there's so many other reasons why
Yeah.
people really tune into this.
Yeah.
Some people paid off an entire mortgage, right? Their mortgages in a very short period of time. I mean,
Hmm.
when you get approved for a mortgage, the bank would say, you would have 25 years to pay for this, right?
Hmm.
And you have to sign this little piece of paper,
Hmm.
amortizing it for 25 years. And then
Yeah.
every 5 years, you have to renew your mortgage because there is a interest rate will change, right?
Yes.
If you are in a fixed whatever, right? So, um, and every year you have to change, every 5 years you have to change the terms, right, on how you're going to
Hmm.
repay the mortgage. So what if,
There is a way to pay that off earlier, right?
right, or what if the bank or the economy would just say, oh, we're just going to keep interest rates really high, and so
You're
you,
stuck.
you're
Stuck
stuck,
with a
right?
high interest.
For the next 50 years you'd be paying your mortgage. But what I'm trying to say is that there is a way, like what Matt said, right? There is a way of, like these people, man, like I was so inspired the other day because when I was watching them, they started the business about 5 or 6 years ago.
Hmm.
And in the beginning of their sorry, in the middle of their journey, I jumped in, right? I jumped in, and I've already seen successes in their lives, paying off $80,000 worth of their consumer debts,
Hmm.
and I wanted
Buying
to,
another property.
yeah, buying another property, and I wanted to see that. I wanted to
Yeah.
see, personally experience that because
Yeah.
also in business. I also wanted to experience that. And so, fast forward after 3 years, um, they bought a house, right, about 2 3 years ago,
Yeah.
right? And then they paid it off, right, in
Yeah.
full. And I've seen many people in that capacity, multiple times, right? That I've seen them very successful. They pay off their mortgage, right? And how much is this mortgage, Leejay, right? So it could be between, I don't know, 300,000 all the way to $800,000, right?
Mhm.
And I've seen people who paid off $800,000 worth of mortgage.
Mhm.
And you would ask, is it possible for me, right? Of course it is possible. Of course it is possible for you to, to pay off your mortgage early, right? You
Mhm.
don't need to wait for 25 years to pay off an entire mortgage, right?
Mhm.
There is a way. And this morning, Mel was just saying something about the message, right? And
Mhm.
that there is a solution to this. There's always going to be a message that we want to give people, but people don't listen, right? Sometimes they just put their blinders on and close their eyes, right? And they just want to just don't want to listen. And I
And it's funny what you said, right? Like,
what did I say?
DJ said, well, can you imagine Jesus? When Jesus was telling
Preaching.
people,
Yeah.
preaching people about love, about being kind to your neighbor, all these things, and is everyone listening to him,
No, absolutely
right?
not, right? Like even Jesus, right? Us Catholic, we look at Jesus as Son of God. Even the Son of God, came down to preach, to live among us, and to preach.
Yeah.
They don't even listen to him, right?
And
Not all of them listen to him.
he even has done miracles,
Yeah,
and he showed the disciples that he was able to walk on water in the middle of the ocean and stop the storm,
right.
and heal the sick,
Yeah,
and um,
make the blind
make
man
the
see.
blind man see,
Yeah,
and or how do you say that? Like
revive.
revive a dead man.
Right.
He was able to show that, but still there are people
And
who
yet
are,
people, right, still doubt him.
yeah.
Even his own, apostle
Hmm.
Thomas, right, doubted him that he's
Yeah.
actually alive during the resurrection, right? He
And
said, and this was one the homily from yesterday. Father was saying that during that time, Thomas, um, really doubted that he resurrected from the dead unless I can touch the wound, right,
mhm.
on Jesus's hands and the side of him, I will
Mhm.
not believe, right?
Mhm.
And I felt the same way. I had the urge of like saying this on this live session today, and I said, it's the same. I told Mel, like, welcome to the life of Jesus, right? That's exactly what people do. No matter how much testimonials you're gonna see online, no matter how much messaging and words that comes out of my mouth to tell you that it actually works, um, people still don't believe, right? Because there are people that are doubters, there are people that are mockers,
Non-believer.
there are people that are non-believers,
Non-believer.
right?
Yeah.
um, you know Jim Rohn, one of my favorite American philosopher of all times, explained this in that very sensible way, right? That people really are people, right? There
Mhm.
are people that's going to mock. There are people that's going to have a negative comment. There are people that will not show up when you invited them. There are people that's not going to watch the webinar, um, but there are people that's actually are believers, and that our energy should actually go to those people. And that's funny because when Jesus was alive, he didn't really, he focused on the people that are ordinary people, right? He
Yeah.
didn't really go to the Pharisees and the higher ups of the church at that time to be with them, right? um, in fact, those people, the higher ups in the church, in their church community or their hierarchy, condemned him, right? So he actually went to the normal people like you and I, and spread the gospel and spread the good news, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's pure love right there. That is love to all of
Yeah.
us, right? And I guess, you could say the same thing in terms of the love of what we do. Mel and I love what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And, we love personal development. We love, starting businesses and helping people how to start their own business.
Mm-hmm.
Mel's motto, say it all,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What's your motto?
Aim high because you can be who you want to be.
And the other one is, we are
We
committed
are committed
to your
to
personal.
your personal and business success.
That's right. So, personal and business can be together, guys. Like,
Mm-hmm.
people say, you have to separate them. It's a separate
Mm-hmm.
thing. In this case, a lot of good personal development comes, the fruition of good personal development
You
is a
can
good
also use it in
in business,
business.
right?
Yeah.
Or it's a good business, right? And they come hand in hand. There are cases where people think that, if I made a lot of money, I could be the bad person, right? The bad guy making a lot of money. Not necessarily, right? Because
Because
sometimes,
if you're using that money for good, right?
right? Or
For
you've
the
collect
things,
of your made that money because you did something great, did
yes.
something good to other people, right? Make their lives easier, give them an opportunity that they too can be financially free.
Hmm.
uh, I was so
If you're changing their families'
right.
lives, the children's lives,
I
right?
was so inspired by Warren Buffett and how he actually does this, right? Because in Berkshire Hathaway, you're able to buy shares, you're able to buy investments, right? And so the money is actually, in a nutshell, I know that it is a complicated topic
Hmm.
when it comes to investment, but the money that you put into Berkshire Hathaway to Warren Buffett's company, um, his promise to you is that he's going to, grow it,
Grow it.
right,
Yeah.
on a yearly basis, right, with you have minimal efforts, right?
Yes.
So all you got to do really is to give him
To
the
put the
money
money.
and then he's going to grow it, right? And so people ask, like, why does Warren Buffett make so much money, right? Like a billionaire, right? 100 billion dollars.
Mhm.
Now the answer to that is because he's done something good to
To other
humanity,
people.
to people,
Yeah.
right? Not only that he grows other people's money, right, but he also gives back, right,
Hmm.
to the people.
Yes.
And when
And he lives such an ordinary life.
Mhm.
We've seen his one of his shows before, and he's just an ordinary man. If you probably see him in on the streets, you wouldn't recognize that he's Warren Buffett.
Right.
He goes to McDonald's,
Right.
buy a hamburger,
Right.
a burger,
Yeah, it was
right?
the breakfast
And
sandwich.
he drinks Coke in the morning. Oh no, that's Trump.
No, no, Trump
Oh,
and him too. Like
oh,
he
okay.
loves Coke, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he's actually one of the biggest investor at Coke as well. So,
Yes, but
um,
this guy is a billionaire.
right, this guy's a billionaire, and I think that, in the same way, I believe that, we might not be able to be, we might not be in that particular moment right now of having a big impact, but I know that the fundamentals are the same,
Yes.
right? In terms of, in terms of having people, um, uh, having help people, and so with that you're able to create a system in which they too has a benefit for it. um, and it's funny because, this type of mentality is pretty much embedded to our community. So when you join our masterminds, what happens is that, there are volunteers out there that shares their secret, right? In fact, they'll tell you how much, how much do they spend on ads, and what are the returns, how many people are buying, a lot of these secrets. And what did they do, right? What's how did the algorithm actually help them to achieve what they have? And sometimes it just amazes me that even though you give the secret, even though you
You
give
tell them,
the tools,
yeah.
you tell them how to do it, right? People would still not do it. I guess like it's still up to them if they're gonna do it or not. Uh, I've conducted hundreds and hundreds of trainings in sales as well as in um, you know admissions advising, that kind of stuff for colleges. And in the beginning of my training session, I usually conduct a 2 week training session for newbies. And in the beginning of the training session,
Mhm.
I will already give them the nuggets. I will already give them the tools, the secrets, right?
Mhm.
And I will give them testimonials. I will give them proof that it actually works. In fact, I'm going to be on the phone actually calling people, and recorded myself doing the same principles, doing the
Mhm.
same script or whatever, right? And it actually works. And yet people, right, out of, I don't know, 200 people that I've trained, really there's only a handful of them that will really get it and implement it the way I visualize them to do it. So it's not for everybody, right? Like, this business is not for everybody. uh, the product, I would say, is for all of us, right? I think it's a terrific product, and people should have that. But at the same time, the actual business is not for everybody. And people would do this. People would just, when you tell them that this is actually working, they would try their best to stay away from you, and they go try to figure out whatever is working somewhere else, right? And I think it's interesting that that this happens a lot with people, and I don't blame them, because some people get scammed, some people
Yeah, like,
had bad experiences, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
like you some people have experiences with other people who, you know, they were used or they were scammed.
Of course, yeah. Uh-huh.
And I was there too. I was skeptical for a year when Leejay started the business,
Hmm.
and I totally get it. I totally get it why people are skeptical.
Hmm.
I get it why some people just don't believe whatever you're saying,
Hmm.
because maybe they're doing something else that they're doing, or maybe they had experience in the past where they just had a really bad experience that they don't want ever to listen
Hmm.
to to the same people or something.
Right, but
Yeah,
at
it's
the end
just,
of the day, the message I really wanted to deliver, this message to you guys. The
yeah.
realization that I have this week is that there's so much out there,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah,
that we can give, right,
yeah,
in terms of the value that we can give to you.
yeah,
We can tell you the secrets, we can tell you what it is, right?
yeah.
But really, are you going to do it, right?
Hmm.
And
There are legitimate ways out there.
mhm,
There are ways in the in the online world
mhm,
where people are real. They
mhm,
have real stories.
mhm.
They have real successes, and they are doing it legitimately,
Right.
not scamming people.
We just
Like,
did our taxes, you guys, and we are so happy. Oh my gosh, so happy that we are in business.
yes,
um, because obviously we're able to claim so much, right?
yeah.
Our car. I mean, we
Our car, the
depreciation,
depreciation
yeah,
of
of
our cars,
mhm.
right? Our home expenses, a
Meals, right?
portion.
A
Yeah.
portion of the meals. There's our cell phone bills. You
Yes.
name it, right?
Internet,
Internet, right?
100% is it's the business
It's
is
used
paying for
stores,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so we're able to claim all that. And it balances out the income and the expenses.
Hmm.
And so at the end of the day, when we did the tax return showed us that we didn't make anything. And you know
The at the end of the day, there are ways, right, to actually reduce your taxes. To show in a particular business, right, that they could also have a loss, right?
Mhm.
Not all of our businesses are in a loss, right? Obviously, there are parts that we made
Yeah.
money and that you have to pay taxes in that part of earning. But in some businesses, we'll definitely take a hit and we'll take a
Yes,
loss, right?
especially if it's in the beginning, right?
Especially in
Because
the
in the
beginning, yeah.
first few years, you're gonna be making those
Right.
expenses in order to grow your
Hmm.
company,
And I've
right?
seen businesses that in just 2 years it just exploded like crazy,
Yeah.
right? And that's an anomaly. It doesn't happen. Doesn't happen all the time, right?
Yeah, but it's good.
I've seen businesses from $0 to $120 million in a period of 2 years, right? I've seen that. Like I've actually seen it. I've experienced it. Um, but there are businesses where they are allowed to claim their losses for the next 5 years because it's just how it works. It's a gradual increase of profits, of
Mhm.
revenue, of expenses, of
Yeah.
inventory, etc., etc. Thank God we're not in that
we're
kind of
not
business.
we're
It's
not dealing with inventory here, guys,
yeah.
or products, right? Like we're not selling any of those products, but we are affiliated with companies
Hmm.
that give us uh, you know the payments
Hmm.
to earn online,
Right.
right?
And we do have T-Force on this. So if
Yes.
you are thinking, oh, is that legit? Whatever you're saying right now, is
Yeah.
that legit? Of course it is legit.
Yes,
We
yes.
have
And it's okay
T-Force.
to have questions like that because we've had a lot of questions from our
Mhm.
the people that we work with, and we love answering those questions because we know that we have something special here. We know
Mhm.
that what we're doing here is legitimate, and it has changed many people's lives.
Right. So I think we're running out of time. We are at 46 minutes now. There's so much more we wanted to share, guys, but tune up for a second week next week.
Yes.
And next week's session is going to be amazing, right?
Yeah.
We didn't really have time to share to you the book of the week, right? The book of the week
Yes.
is actually The
Uh,
Seven Habits
of highly
of
effective
Highly Effective
people
People by
by
Stephen Covey.
Stephen Covey.
Um, but there's so much more. It's probably like what I said when we started this initiative. I told Mel I could talk for hours, right? Of different topics
Yeah.
of personal development, business topics, right?
Yes.
Marital topics, about marriage, about
Yeah.
community life, about
Raising kids.
raising kids.
Yeah.
So many different topics, guys, that we can give
Yes.
to you.
And we are so grateful that we have these platforms,
Mhm,
the Facebook, Instagram, YouTube,
mhm,
that we're able to share all these things that
mhm.
we're learning from,
Right,
and
for free.
it help us, and
Right.
that we think and we believe
Hmm.
that can help other people as well.
Absolutely. And the thing is, if you are ready, if you are thinking of joining a community, like-minded individuals, entrepreneurs, that combines personal development and entrepreneurial spirit together, right? This is the perfect opportunity for a lot of you that's looking for that, right?
Yes.
I mean, as long as you're coachable, as long as you really
You
are willing to
willing to
learn,
learn.
this is a perfect platform, right?
Yes.
Um,
And everything here is learnable.
hmm, the best.
Everything is, we have a training system that provides all the tools and what to click and how to create, posters.
Right.
All these things can be learned,
Hmm.
and it's a skill that you can really use up for anything that you're doing,
Mhm.
basically.
And the best part is that we are going to be your mentors, right? So if you're join our team, we're going to be your mentors. We can guide you step by step to go through this process. We can sit down with you. We can, we're real people, like real people, right? They can actually talk to.
Yeah.
It's not a recorded webinar either. There's a reason why we're live right now. We're real. We're real people, and so there's a coach that's going to be assigned to you. There's a first degree mentor that's going to assign to you. There's a second degree mentor that's going to assign to you. Obviously, if you have been you joined in one of our business partners communities, right? So there is going to be somebody there to support each and every
Yes.
step that you take.
Yes.
But it really starts, all of this really starts in this one single 90-minute webinar or information session.
Yeah.
And the best way to get into that is to message us, right? Just say hi to us, and or you can check out our site at leejayandmelissa.com. Put in your email, right? Your name, your real name, your real email, right? um, and so we can send you that information kit, as well as a recorded version of the webinar if you missed, or if you don't have time to do the actual webinar live session. So I think that's it, you
Yeah,
guys.
that's it.
There's so many
This
more,
is a
but
long live.
it's a very
50
long live.
minutes.
50 minutes, almost an hour.
Yeah. Yes.
We wish you good luck with
Yes.
whatever you have right now.
Yes.
And we wish you to see you again tomorrow.
Yes.
And that's us signing off. Thanks a lot,
Yes.
guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Happy
everybody.
Sunday.
Happy Sunday. God
God
bless
bless.
everybody. Bye.